Thanks for joining us. It's time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the dailies this morning. Winfrey is here with me.
Hi.
Today is Thursday, October 5th, 2023. Starting with the Punch newspaper, economic crisis. States borrow 46 billion naira from banks to pay salaries. Access, Fidelity, Zenith lend states 46 billion naira in 6 months as governors battle poor IGR. Fiscal Responsibility Commission issues guidelines to banks on lending to states and MDAs. It also says right at the top here, federal government to convert 10 million PMS vehicles to CNG. Naira, among Africa's worst currencies, falls by 40%, according to World Bank. Judgments based on constitution, not public opinion, says Chief Justice of Nigeria. It also says here 5 Katsina varsity students kidnapped, police nab informant. Teacher's car crushes pupil to death in Lagos, and ministerial nominee faints. Journalist dies in National Assembly shuttle. That's what we have on the cover of the Punch. Something caught my eye: converting 10 million PMS vehicles to CNG, that's natural gas. I feel like that's a long process. That's 10 million vehicles. That's a lot of vehicles. Now, I don't know exactly how many vehicles are functioning in Lagos, in most of the states, but that feels like quite a lot. I'm also wondering if, well, I'll probably follow up with the story, if it's commercial vehicles, you know, for transporting mass transit and the like, or even giving the opportunity for private vehicle owners to also do the same, you know. But I don't know. It's an interesting direction to get us off PMS.
Of course, definitely. Of course, with the whole, I think I like the fact that I mean, the federal government is actually thinking beyond what our present situation is, because I mean, the fuel price keeps on going up, and then we heard about the whole subsidy, even with the removal of the subsidy, and it just seems like it keeps on going up. And besides that, also the value of the naira right now doesn't seem to be too strong, and then people are clamoring and all of that. So of course we have to find an alternative. And of course, doing this, as much as you say 10 million vehicles may seem a lot. Have you seen Petroleum Bridge around 4 p.m.? Do you understand? Yeah. So like in Lagos alone, we definitely have. You might say, I'm sure there are more than 10 million cars in Lagos alone. Now we're talking about the entire Nigeria. So of course, I think it's a step in the right direction if actually we can get this to actually work and work properly, right? So I think like that's actually very important.
You mentioned the naira not being very strong. There's also the story from the World Bank there, claiming that the naira is among Africa's worst currencies, falling by 40%. Now we're all hopeful that this is going to turn around soon enough with some of the policies and things that are being implemented by the government. I guess time.
Yes, time, of course, will tell. And then again, we think about it, why exactly is it that it seems like the naira is suffering? Let me put it that way. I think it's still because we are majorly still a consumer-based economy. So, of course, what are kind of things that will strengthen any currency? Exportation. So once we, and the good thing is, now, if you look, with the youth and even with a lot of programs that the government is actually trying to put in place on how to actually boost production and all of that. So very soon enough, it seems like we'll actually be coming out of all of that while we settle from the whole fluctuation and the dollar-naira battle.
But then if we lean back onto the main headline here, economic crisis, states borrowing 46 billion from banks to pay salaries. Now, those 3 banks in question, they're over the past 6 months.
6 months, yes.
It has been a battle, but at least salaries are, so to speak, paid.
Yes. So this situation of salaries being paid and monies being borrowed, for me, it kind of, I don't know, whenever I think about it, yes, of course, I'm excited that salaries are being paid. But now my thought is, fine, if we have so much backlog, or is it like futuristic salaries, do you understand, like to clear out? So now why is it that the state doesn't seem possible to generate enough money to sort out the salaries of its workers? Because if you think of any organization, do you understand, you're thinking of running a service and running a business that is strong enough to literally pay for your overheads and like cover things like that. So
a lot of questions.
So it's like, why is that the issue? Why is it always, when it comes to salaries, we're thinking about borrowing money? So if the workers are not effective enough to generate their own salaries, I don't want to say should they be paid, but I know it sounds like harsh, but then again, these are the questions I literally have in my mind.
A lot of questions. Hopefully, with subsequent stories, we will find some answers. We're on the Guardian newspaper now. Crisis looms in varsities over mass exodus of lecturers.
Wow.
Now, there is an infographic there talking about the breakdown of the IPPIS salary payments based on the CONUAS of 2019.
Yeah.
Now, it does give a breakdown of what the salaries actually represent. And it says here, to employ a single lecturer, you have to go through 7 MDAs. That's different ministries.
Yeah.
Now, it also says the federal government last month approved 35% and 23% of salary increments for staff of all federal tertiary institutions. Now, there were always complaints about, how the teaching staff of tertiary institutions were being treated.
Yes.
There was strike after strike after strike, and of course some salaries being owed at some point as well. So this gives you a sort of visual of what has been going on.
Yes.
I actually wasn't aware that professors were getting, on an average over 300,000 naira.
Yes.
But then you'd have graduate assistants just below 100,000 naira.
Yes.
99,000. So it does give you a little bit of perspective as to why a lot of those conversations were being had with all those MDAs.
Yes.
Let's see if we can check out some other headlines, or would you like to comment on that?
Yes, I actually like to comment on this because, I went to a federal university, and of course, with the ongoing situation of strikes back to back to back, you only wonder why. And then one of the things or the issues and problems we had then back in school is the fact that we had to buy handouts. So, and it was a problem, right? Because some lecturer is literally threatening you that if you don't buy my handouts from me, because it's one thing to buy handouts, another thing to photocopy handouts. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You don't buy. So you now want, and certain times it seems like lecturers sometimes, or lecturer assistants, also even victimize students and ask for certain things and all of that. Now, if you see these rates compared to the economy and what's happening, you understand that they are also trying to just earn a living and make ends meet and all that. And you think of these people being the people that are literally in the lecture rooms teaching the next doctors, the next lawyers. Do you understand? It will now literally put things in perspective. Do you understand? For me, I just think that there's certain people, they said teachers literally are the ones that are literally grooming the next leaders. Do you get? So they need to be taken adequate care of. And they need to, certain things need to be sorted out. For a professor, you know what it means for you to rise to the level of being a professor? When it comes to studying work, you put in time and all of that, the years and all of that, and then you're talking about not even up to 500,000 naira. So it's just really questionable and worrisome. But the good thing is that now we see these things, we now know how to adjust it and moving forward. Yes.
So I'm going to wrap it up with this headline still on The Guardian here. It says a tragedy in Senate as journalist dies, ministerial nominee slumps during screening. That was something that was on social media and on the news as at yesterday, and it was alarming, but there's more information about it on page 6 of The Guardian.
Yes.
You can check it out for more details. However, that is all we have time for when it comes to the headlines in the dailies for this morning. We'll be wrapping it up there, but we would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and let us know what you think. All right, at this point, we're heading back into the kitchen, and but we're going to take a quick break just before then. Stay with us.